All right, what's up, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the best football weekend of the season is upon us. It's championship weekend. We have just 4 teams remaining, and personally, I think it's our 2 best teams in the NFC and our 2 best teams in the AFC. It doesn't always work out like that, but these teams have been great for most of the season, jockeying back and forth, and it all comes down to this. One final win will send this team to Las Vegas for a chance to hoist the Lombardi. But let's get into it. Our first game of the day, we're heading to the AFC, all the way out to Baltimore, where it's going to be cold and rainy. 3 o'clock local kickoff. What do we have to say? Okay, personally, what I think is the best game of the day, the Ravens and the Chiefs. Kind of wish this was the second game. It's a marquee matchup. Baltimore's established themselves as one of the most dominant teams in the NFL, not just this season, but in history. Double-digit wins against like 9 teams with a winning record, absolutely housing the best of the best this league has to offer. Now, they haven't been perfect, obviously. They've had some slip-ups here and there, but led by a suffocating defense, a reemergent Lamar Jackson. Lots of talk about Lamar. He gets injured the last 2 seasons, down for the count. He talking about the contract, has the ability to find a new team to give him a contract. He signs a long-term extension. What does he do? Follows that back up with an MVP type season, and that's why Baltimore's here back in the AFC Championship game and hosting the AFC Championship game. First title game since they won the Super Bowl back in 2012. But who comes back into town? The old man himself, Patrick Mahomes. Just when we counted this Chiefs team out pretty much all season, they didn't look great. The offense was slow. The offense was sluggish. It was ugly. The defense was great, but then it wasn't good. Has turned into the old playoff Chiefs we've known, and most of you have come to hate. Another suffocating performance by that defense in Buffalo. The offense is awake. They put up points. They get stops. And here they are again, 6 straight AFC Championship games for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So we clearly know where the experience lies in this matchup. It's all on Kansas City. Lamar's just won his 2nd playoff game ever last week against Houston, but it was in dominating fashion. And let's be honest, the Ravens struggled massively in that first half. Could it because of the bye? Looks like it, but the defense was great all game. Shut down this Houston offense, shut down CJ Stroud. The offense lights it up in the second half, so they are humming right now. Like I said, the weather in this game, going to be a factor. I think it's going to be cold and rainy. Who does that benefit? Well, it tends to benefit the teams with a better running attack and a better defense. Now, Baltimore has the best defense in the NFL right now, I think, but Kansas City's probably right there at number 2, if not 2, 3. They've been awesome unit. So I expect a very low-scoring game in this matchup. The Ravens offense has been running. We know how good they can run the football. It doesn't matter who they put out there. They just put in Dalvin Cook last week. He chunked off a couple of big runs, and Lamar makes plays. Massive impact coming back. Mark Andrews, he is a X factor. You can run a 2 tight end set now, and you have 2 absolute monster weapons in Likely and Andrews out there. We know what Lamar can do offensively. Here's the big thing. Can this Chiefs offense manage to get anything? Look, you can't stop Patrick Mahomes. The best defenses in the world can't stop Patrick Mahomes, but you can slow him down. This Chiefs offense has been excellent in the postseason so far, running the football. They think they have the 3rd highest average in yards per game in the playoffs so far. This has really allowed the offense to get comfortable, settle in, allow Mahomes to make plays. Travis Kelce was back. We know it was a massive mismatch last week against Buffalo. Don't expect that this week. The linebacking core for Baltimore is truly elite. 2 of the best in the game. If they're not the best, maybe the boys in San Francisco, but those guys are right there. They suffocate you. And Travis Kelce has looked old at points in the season. He's going to be a struggling. Key is, can they get anything on the ground with Isaiah Pacheco? I think this is going to be a really ugly, really knuckle-dragging, kind of slow, ugly game. It's going to be bad weather. Maybe there's some turnovers. 2 really good defenses are going to have to step this up, and it's who's going to make the plays. And I know I hate to be this guy, but I just don't know if I can trust the Chiefs receivers anymore. Look, they've stepped up. They've made the plays, but those guys, man, they're just so unreliable. Now, on you look at Baltimore, you have a rookie in Zay Flowers. You don't know what you don't know. Maybe the moment gets too big for him. But Odell Beckham Jr., he's their second receiver. This man has played in a million big games. He is not going to be overwhelmed by this. I mean, the man's best game of his career, at least the start of it, was in the Super Bowl. He is here for the moment. I expect OBJ to have a sneaky big impact on this game with how good this Chiefs defense is. Can they get a stop? Can they slow down this Chiefs offense enough? Mahomes getting the ball. I feel like an idiot picking against Mahomes. I said it last week. You should never bet against Mahomes. You have to pick against Mahomes. They have to be beaten before you can do it. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens to take care of business here. It's a 4-point spread. I like the Chiefs to cover, Ravens to win. This is a terrible decision, possibly. Patrick Mahomes not only loves leading from the front, he loves being an underdog. He is 8-3 outright as a dog, 9-1-1 ATS as a dog in his career. So he thrives in these kind of situations. Just when everyone doubts him, I just think there's a total roster disadvantage to the Chiefs. The Ravens have a much better all-around team in every facet of the game. They've dominated these top-tier teams. Now, maybe the moment gets to them. Maybe it gets too big. We have seen this team get double-digit leads and throw it away, and that's kind of where the Chiefs always want to be. Oh, we're down 10 in the fourth quarter. Hey, we're going to come back and win this game. So that could play a major factor in this game. The Ravens back end, they're getting Marlon Humphreys back. I think it's going to be too much. They've focused in. I've talked about my concerns all year for this Ravens defense, that if they did get pushed, you can score the points on them. You can throw the ball downfield. I just think the combination of weather, the focus, attention to detail, and the stakes on the line are going to be too much, and the Ravens will take this bad boy home, heading to Las Vegas as your AFC champions. But let's go turn over to the NFC. Who is going to be the opponent for the Ravens? All right, it's our NFC game now. Don't feel slighted here. This is an excellent matchup as well. NFC folks, we have the 49ers and America's new love team, the Detroit Lions, kicking off at 3:30 local time out in the Bay Area. The Niners, your 1 seed. Detroit hadn't hosted a playoff game in 30 plus years. They hadn't been to the conference championship game in 30 plus years. 2 home playoff wins find them in this spot. San Francisco, do you feel lucky to be here? They survive a major scare from the 7-seeded Green Bay Packers. But here's what we've talked about all year. Can Brock Purdy come from behind? Can the Niners do it? Niners were 0-30 under Kyle Shanahan when trailing by 5 or more points entering into the fourth quarter. Well, they answered the bell. Brock Purdy, atrocious for most of that game against Green Bay. He rises to the occasion. No Deebo Samuel, marches them down the field, gets the touchdown when the defense needs to. They get the stop, pick off Jordan Love. And hey, they're right where they needed to be, right? They talked about it. They want to host this game. They felt cheated after last year. And look, Brock Purdy is undefeated in playoff games he started and finished, folks. He's 3-0 in games he starts and finishes. So he's kind of got that clutch factor to him. I don't like this Brock Purdy slander. This is a super, super interesting matchup because Detroit, like I said, they got a lot of momentum behind them. They have 30 years of being the doorstop of the NFL. You know, everybody just made fun of the Lions. They were 0-16 at a point in time in this century. And yet, here they are in the NFC Championship game. They're all grit all the time. They find themselves Dan Campbell. Everyone made fun of him. I liked it when he came in. He's turned this program around, and look, they are here. They believe they belong to be here, and they believe they can win this game. Now, these two teams are kind of like mirror images of each other. Both run the football really, really well. Both stop the run really, really well. The difference is there are some exploits in the secondary. Frisco's not as big of a secondary liability as the Detroit Lions have been. Detroit's been atrocious in the back end for the entire season and really down the stretch here. You had a couple of 400-yard games by Nick Mullins down the stretch. You had a light-up performance by Baker Mayfield. You did force 2 interceptions, though, and that's the key to this defense. They've been very bend, don't break, don't give up touchdowns in the red zone like they did against Los Angeles, and then turn the ball over, force turnovers, make plays, and that could be really added. The addition of C.J. Gardner-Johnson back into that back end has really kind of helped things out. Now, he looked a little rusty, he had a pick, but that was off of a tip, a little slow, but it is improved this unit, and they need to be because They have been a run first offense. They've been so effective running the football, but don't sleep on Jared Goff, man. He's been able to seize his opportunities. Amon-Ra St. Brown does not get talked about enough as one of the elite tier wide receivers in the NFL. He's just always open, he's always angry, and he's always there with purpose, and that's huge. Not to mention rookie tight end Sam Laporta. He's looking healthy. There was some scare that he would miss the playoffs possibly. He's played in both games. He looked really good last week. He had a touchdown. He's been so invaluable to this team throughout the season. They really need him to step up. And guys like Josh Reynolds, who caught a touchdown last week, really improving their game. It gives Detroit a lot of weapons, and they're going to have to rely on Goff. Now, the weather should be great for this game, 72 and sunny, so we're not going to have to worry about the rain issue that we had last week in Frisco with Brock Purdy. He had trouble with that grip, couldn't figure out the football. That played a big factor into this. I think Frisco is just a slightly older and slightly better version of this Detroit Lions team. They're well-rounded, both squads, but they have this playoff experience. They have these playmakers. I'll be interested to see if Kyle Shanahan maybe gets his head out of his ass and he really dials up some plays to expose this passing game, allow Brock Purdy to make plays. Look at guys like George Kittle, had a big touchdown last week. He's a mismatch nightmare for this Lions defense. Offensive weapons, Brandon Ayuk, he should have another big game. The huge X factor, Deebo Samuel. He injured the shoulder early in that Green Bay game. He's been questionable all week. Is he going to play? I think he's going to give it a go. You kind of have to see if he gives it a go. You kind of force him out there, see what he can do, because he is just a massive X factor on this offense. The offense is 3 points better when he's on the field. You don't see that from really any guys out there, except for like quarterbacks. That's a huge number for a player to be impacting the score. So you kind of have to have Deebo out there. If Deebo's not out there, I think this is a really gritty, close dogfight of a game. If Deebo's good enough to go and you can get production out of Deebo, I do think we're going to get a great performance from the San Francisco 49ers. I'm of the belief that when you look bad in the first game, you survive, you escape, you're going to get your best effort the next week. They are going to be extremely dialed in to detail. They are not going to take things for granted. And look, San Francisco, when they are at their best, might be the best football team in the league. It's unbelievable what we've seen them do to teams, what they can do to teams. We know the potential of this team. This is a Niners team that's been constantly in this situation. All these NFC Championship game appearances, they have one Super Bowl appearance to show for it and no rings. It just feels like it's the Niners' time, whereas the Detroit Lions are the young and upcoming team that this is their first year in. They make an incredible run. I do ultimately think it falls short. I'm going to take the Niners here. I think the line is up to 7.5. That kind of scares me, that hook. But if you're going to take a team, you got to go with it. So I'm going to take the Niners here with the points. I think they cover this game. They're going to just be a dynamic, relentless offensive effort for them. And the defense, they're going to have to get after Jared Goff. We know how good this offensive line is. Those two linebackers are going to cause hell for them. I think they're going to be able to cover Sam Laporta. It's going to be a one-man offensive show. Amon-Ra, maybe you get some Reynolds in there, but I think this is a fantastic run for the Lions. There's nothing to be ashamed of here. I do think they keep this game close early, but Frisco ultimately pulls away with second half adjustments in a game that's really shined by Brock Purdy. I think they put the ball in his hands. I think he has a much better performance. He silences the haters, and I'm sticking with it. Nothing's changed. I came in before the playoffs. Ravens, 49ers, we've talked about it all year. The Super Bowl logo conspiracy, it's all of that and more. It doesn't matter who wins. It's always a conspiracy. Let them figure it out on the field. So I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers out of the NFC to join the Ravens in Las Vegas on February 11th. I just want to thank everybody who stuck around all this season through the power rankings each and every week, the divisional breakdown last week. It's been a blast. We have one more left, folks. We got the Super Bowl breakdown still incoming, but I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody, all the support you've given throughout the season. It's been an awesome NFL season. I'm sad it's ending, but we got all sorts of sports content to cover. NBA, MLB, NHL, the draft, all of this stuff, NFL free agency. It's been a wild ride, but if you haven't already, click that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got new sports content every single day. If you want to support the channel more, click that join button, sign up for a channel membership. You get access to exclusive videos, early access to videos, badges, emojis, things to use in the live stream, chat in the live stream throughout the year. Helps support me, allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.